Welcome to Yellowbrick Road. I am Jordan, and today we're going to watch some Candace. Nothing special, no special intro. Candace, I think she brings up Ben Shapiro, and I'm just going to keep watching until I get bored or annoyed or just don't feel like watching anymore, you know? But before I get started, don't forget to share support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. All opinions are welcome. And obviously, this video will be linked in the description box for you to watch on your own. You don't have to hear us pausing, talking over the video, making crude jokes about how much of a psychopath Candace Owens is, or how dweeby Ben Shapiro is. You don't have to hear that. You can just watch the video on your own. Right? I'm sorry. Sorry we have opinions here and we talk a lot. I apologize for that. Either way, the video will be linked in the description box, so please don't lose out on that. Alright, so I ain't got much to say. Let's just fucking watch. Here's Candace Owens with Ben Shapiro is crying again. I watched a decent portion of this, by the way, so people know. But after a certain point, I did not see the rest of this. So here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, 911, I want to report a blood libel. Blood libel.
Turn her down.
I've suffered a centuries-old anti-black trope. That's how this works, right? Like if you're in the pro-Israel lobby and you deal with any sort of pushback or flack, you got to fall to the ground and cry victim. Well, it's my turn now, you guys, because yesterday, Ben Shapiro, who was invited as a guest to join Megyn Kelly on her tour, he pretty much just goes mask down, and it's obviously hilarious. He just lies. It's so weird. He just has nothing, so he lies and tries to pressure Megyn to respond to the lies. All I can say is the pro-Israel lobby is down real bad. They're writing fan fiction. It's like Bibi Netanyahu fan fiction. And on that note, I sat down with a woman on CNN, and it went about as bad as you might have expected. Fantastic clips that are making the rounds. So let's jump right back into this. Happy Friday, and welcome back to Candace.
Big soulful intro. Skip that.
Other than it was the purest form of anti-blackism that I've ever experienced. I mean, it's obvious to me that Ben Shapiro is manifestly insane. Last night, he was gripping the microphone as he would the neck of a black woman. I'm kidding. Obviously, those are not my quotes. Those are actually direct quotations from Ben Shapiro himself when he accuses others of anti-Semitism. Whenever he hears anything that he doesn't like about Israel, those are actually his words. This is a real life tweet from Ben Shapiro. Accusing any American Jew who is pro-Israel of being Israel first is a pure form of anti-Semitism. That was directed at Nick Fuentes, which we'll circle back to. Also, this was a real tweet directed at Ron Paul. Ron Paul is manifestly insane. As in previous debates, he is now gripping the pen as he would the neck of a Jew. Ron Paul? Really? And this is another tweet. Perry had the memorable moments of the evening. Had the memorable moments of the evening other than Ron Paul's corpse leaning forward from the grave and strangling the Jews. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know.
Yeah, Ben, you're a fucking weirdo for that one, bro. That's so weird. It's like Ben's getting flashbacks of that punching bag knocking him the fuck out.
Oh, God, it hit back. Oh.
Yeah, Ben's a little weirdo. Here we go.
To say other than Ben is a funny guy. He is. He's never trying to be funny. He just is funny when he's being serious and he's being seriously angry about a topic.
Take this, take that.
It's just something that I enjoy to watch. And last night, he got on stage with Megyn Kelly. She had a tour stop in Florida. And I want to say, I was kind of impressed with Ben because instead of doing his usual thing where he sends others to do his dirty work so he can keep his hands clean, he was like, I'm going to peer pressure Megyn Kelly myself. I'm going to make her disavow me, make her disavow Candace Owens. I'm going to make her disavow Tucker Carlson by putting her on the spot and asking her to respond to things that Tucker Carlson never did and Candace Owens never did or said. And you really get to see it masked down because you saw this narrative circulating amongst people who were just absurdly making claims that I attacked Erica. And I know what these organic movements look like. I know how they operate behind the scenes. And I know Ben plays a part in this. And so it was actually quite refreshing for me to be like, now everyone gets to see what you are because you're saying stuff that never happened. So we'll start with what he said about Tucker Carlson. You should know Ben has a real thing for Tucker Carlson. I don't understand it. It is
Ooh.
just, I don't know. It's been going on for a long time. There's something about Tucker Carlson
Pause,
that
Somi.
gets
What
under his
the-
skin. I'm not clear on it. I would actually love to hear Ben speak about that. I mean, people at the Daily Wire, when they're leaving the Daily Wire, have to sign agreements that they're not going to go work for Tucker Carlson for 6 months. It's strange. Anyways, he jumps into this explaining his upset that like Tucker left him on red. I don't know. Tucker and him had a nice conversation on the day that Charlie Kirk died, and Tucker then sent a nice text because Ben had called him. And I guess Ben thought there would be more of a follow-up, and there wasn't. So here is Ben complaining about that and then spinning it into the accusation that Tucker Carlson somehow supports Mamdani. I don't know. Take a listen.
So I texted him and I said, thanks so much for calling. It means the world. It truly does. Should we do a show together talking about the DSA threat, Democratic Socialists of America threat, and orienting in the same direction? Happy to do whatever it takes to bring everyone back together for the fight that matters. And Tucker then wrote back, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to spend the next week or two thinking about how to be most effective. The country is clearly on the brink. I reached out repeatedly after that. Nothing happened.
Lightly attacking the left.
And again,
huh?
I thought it was a good idea at the time. I
This
think
guy's
I
such a
felt
twerp dweeb.
differently after I saw what he did with Nick Fuentes, and after he proceeded, in my opinion, to spend the subsequent weeks doing literally nothing to fight the left. I say this with sadness because Tucker used to be, I think, a deeply important part of the conservative push to win. The number of times
Win what?
Tucker Carlson has mentioned Zoran Mamdani since October 5th on his show is once. And it was in the context of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson talking about the appeal of Zoran Mamdani. Just by way of contrast, not because I'm a perfect representative here, but because you've talked about Zoran Mamdani a lot. A lot of us have. Since October 5th, I did 17 separate shows on Zoran Mamdani, including 4 in the last week before the election. Okay, because when you're orienting against the left, you really should orient against the left.
What?
So this just
I'm sorry, but he's openly saying we need to be dishonest, and it doesn't matter about merit or character. It's all about winning. And what are they winning for? Obviously, to make the world a worse place, to continue devil worshipping policies across the fucking planet where people get massacred. That's what Ben is saying. Tucker should invest more time into. Just saying it plainly, and what I'm saying here. But all right, here's Candace's response to that.
Against the left.
Left.
So this just makes no sense. It makes entirely no sense. He's upset because I guess
Literally
Tucker
Ben's
doesn't
career,
want to do a show with him in the future. A lot of stuff goes on in the background that you guys don't understand. So, okay, that's on Tucker. If Tucker doesn't want to collab with Ben, that's on him. Also, it's Tucker's platform. So what it means when you have your own show, which I don't know why the shock's Ben, is you can talk about whatever you want. If Tucker wants to do 6 months and he just wants to cover sports, it's his prerogative, and people can tune in or they can tune out. That's what the free markets mean. The free markets does not mean that the very same people who tried to artificially push Tucker out of the markets, the same people that applauded him being fired, the same people that have called him an anti-Semite, then get to dictate what he speaks about on his show. That actually just makes entirely no sense. It's not Tucker's responsibility. Doesn't live in New York City. It's not his responsibility to use his platform to speak about Mamdani 17 times. It's very strange. But to the insinuation that Tucker somehow supported Mamdani and said like nice things about him when he sat down with Marjorie Taylor Greene, here's actually what Tucker said with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you be the judge of whether you think Ben is being an honest person when he describes it in the manner that he just did. Take a listen to Tucker.
No, he's a liar.
It's interesting. You said a second ago that when people are really frustrated, when the system they live under fails them, they listen to voices that they shouldn't listen to or wouldn't listen to under any other circumstance. Like, how did Al Sharpton get to be the leader of Black America or whatever? I mean, it's like it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Desperate people
Fed Al Sharpton
tend to go to crappy leaders, I think. And I just can't get over what happened in our biggest city this week, the very same week that everybody in D.C. is focused thousands of miles away on the greatest threat we face, Iran's nuclear program. I don't want Iran to have the bomb. I'm not pro-Iran,
No,
obviously.
we're not pro-Iran.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to say it?
No,
But
right.
We do.
It's
Yeah,
dumb.
here's the
But at
disclaimer.
the same time that everybody was looking to Iran, our largest city had a Democratic primary, effectively the mayor's race, and like 32-year-old socialist who wants government-run grocery stores gets gets elected, he's going to likely run our biggest city
Yeah. And
in the country.
Right. New York.
And it's like, why did that happen? Is it because people are so like desperate for government-run grocery stores, or love socialism, or love like foreign-born midwits running their cities? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
That guy was the only person in the New York City mayor's debate to say he wanted to focus on New York City. All the candidates were asked, if you could visit a foreign country, what would it be? And they, of course, all had an answer. I think most said Israel. Great. And he said, I wouldn't go anywhere. I'd stay in New York. And like, if I want to meet Jewish constituents, I go to their synagogues, their homes, or whatever. But I'd be here in New York because that's what I'm doing. I'm running New York. That's my job.
Well, he gave the right answer.
He gave the right answer. He
Yeah.
gave the right answer, at least. And he's talking. I totally oppose his program. Just
Absolutely.
To be clear. I
Yeah.
don't think it works. But he's talking about economics.
Yep.
And everyone else is talking about foreign policy.
So he said what I said. I am describing to you why
was
Mamdani
that volume
won,
drop?
and you're angry that people are assessing why that happened. It doesn't matter how many times you call somebody an anti-Semite. People appreciated, it's very obvious, the fact that he was not focused on foreign policy issues when there's so many domestic ones to prove from. You got to learn why you lose elections, and it's not Tucker's job to get people elected, least of all in cities that he doesn't live in. Now,
I mean, these guys aren't. I mean, in your past, at least, Candace and Tucker, in your past, you would definitely speak up about elections in other states and other places. I think, let's just be honest. And also, Mamdani doesn't fully leave away like fucking foreign policy, right? He has made statements about wanting to arrest Netanyahu if he stepped foot in New York, right? I believe he's made statements like that. So he doesn't stay away from foreign policy. He's just on the other side of it, right? Of the whole quote-unquote Israel issue. So, yeah. Just saying, just trying to be honest. Here we go.
I want to also show you what Ben said about me, because it's so outrageous and it's so dishonest that we actually should
I don't know why that happened, guys. I think it's Candace's video feed where the volume just dropped off a cliff quite a bit. That wasn't my shut. I think it's her shut. But here we go.
process what is happening here. Okay. This is a watershed moment. Ben does not have it together. He is very insecure, and he's going on the attack against Megyn Kelly by lying about what I said and then forcing her to react to the evil of what I never said. Here's what Ben said.
We're in a business where people comment on what we say publicly. Again, this is why I think you and I differ on our angle with regard to, for example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what?
Because
like I don't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, yes.
As we know, that's either misinformed or just an outright lie. In fact, she's been doing, more recently, she's been going a little bit more after TPUSA, but she has put up some defenses for these motherfuckers, too, where weird things are happening, and she kind of defends them, like the Andrew Colvett guy. Or even some people, maybe that's not where I'm at yet, but some people are like, yo, look at Erica Kirk, she's doing some weird shit. Yo, Candace, how come you're not talking about that? Well, she has openly defended her and left her alone, essentially. So either Ben is misinformed or he's just like, fuck it, I'll just lie. Whatever, can win the day, Maybe have to take it back later, right, in a tweet somewhere. But initially, I get the shock of saying Candace is going after Charlie Kirk's wife. Maybe. But all right, let's hear Candace's response. Here we go.
It's just, I don't even know how to respond to it because it just never happened. It's so crazy. He's not even anywhere near what's happened. Anybody who's watched this show, I actually was getting flack from my audience for not covering Erica's past or speaking about her parents. I said she gave one of the most consequential speeches, and I have focused my investigation on Turning Point USA and why they're telling certain lies. Seth Dillon, told the truth that Seth Dillon lied about the Hamptons meeting and that he was pressuring Charlie about the topic of Israel. I never once accused Seth Dillon of murdering Charlie Kirk. So what's he actually doing here, right? Obviously, there's a lot of layers that we should peel back, and it's important that we do it. The least interesting part of this is the fact that he's lying through his teeth. That's implied he's a Zionist. But there's a lot more that's happening that meets the eye, because Ben Shapiro...
Those don't mean the same thing, by the way. I have to try to clean up for Candace because, once again, she's riding a wave. She's riding the Israel thing wave. So thus she's going to say statements like that, right? But it's not actually true in reality, right? I'm just trying to keep things clean, be fair to people.
Some Zionists are honest; they're devil worshippers.
I mean, in a way, yeah. In a way, yeah. Some actually do believe, like, oh, we're doing this to protect the Jewish people from around the world, to protect them. We have a safe place to be at, right? Some people actually believe that. I'm like, oh, I want that too, right? I want to have a safe, like, everyone should have a safe place to be in when they're not, being harmful people, right? They're just living their lives. I don't want any harm to come to anyone.
I mean, some Zionists admit that the Talmud is worship of Moloch.
I'm sure some do, but I'm saying there are some that are, like, it doesn't. Zionist does not equal liar. That's just not true.
I concur. Some admit they worship Satan, as in Moloch.
Some say nothing about Satan or the fucking 30-foot owl. Actually, there's, believe it or not, more Republicans.
And those are liars. And those are liars. I think they don't mention the owl.
I think notoriously, there's more Republicans that go to, what's it called? Bohemian Grove. Like, on paper, I think we've heard of more Republicans than Jewish or Democrat, if you will. Funny enough.
You're quoting Bill Clinton, and you're calling that a fact.
No, as far as I've seen, or understood. More like I'm sure there's all different types of people there, but notorious, you could say right-leaning presidents are photographed being there, right? But
I don't know anybody being photographed there except for what Alex Jones.
No, there's pictures of that.
And that's not clear of who anybody was in that footage.
No, there's actual photographs, I believe, of Nixon. I believe of Reagan. There might be others. What's his name? David Goggins?
You mean just on the grounds of Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, like in like a building. They aren't like out there in hoods worshiping an owl.
Okay.
Right? They're just visiting there though, anyways. Right?
Oh, okay.
Let's be real. They probably partook in the festivities, if you will. All right. But anyways.
Right. Once you start putting two and two together, more than likely.
Yeah, I mean, why else be there? But all right. Let's continue with Candace. Trying to clean up some of her language, in my opinion, at least. Here we go.
It's important that we do it. The least interesting part of this is the fact that he's lying through his teeth. That's implied he's a Zionist. But there's a lot more that's happening that meets the eye, because Ben Shapiro was effectively the final boss of the pro-Israel lobby. And it's
no, he's fucking not.
Because he never comes out and says what
your final, like Candace and Tucker, your final boss is Donald Trump. Fucking dummies. That's the actual final boss. And we all fucking know it. Holy Christ. You're going to take down Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's been flailing with views over the past couple of years because of his hyper pro-Israel stance, right? So, I want to hear that shit. Donald Trump is your final boss because guess what? He makes policies. Him and his administration, they make policies that favor Israel. If that's your main thing about the whole Israel lobby, right? Donald Trump is the biggest force in the way of you getting your policy or defunding Israel or whatever the fuck you want to do, right? he's the biggest barrier you have, him and his administration. But I mean, for a content creator, right? I expect people to make a giant monster out of someone so that they can knock it down and say, "Look, I took down the monster. Look how awesome I am. That makes me a good person." See? Meanwhile, it's like, no, not in reality, guys. And I hope she's not doing that, but I feel like I could heavily believe that she would build someone up to be like something, so that when she knocks them down, she can take credit and say, look how much of a hero I am. But she's psychopathic Oprah. That's why. But all right, here we go.
He means he's kind of like more of a behind the scenes person. And we're now watching him come undone in real time, because no matter who you are in this age of digital media, it is simply not a good idea to lie through your teeth. Okay. Wrong time, 2025. Before you get the lie out, the internet is going to clock it, right? They're going to go back and be like, you lied. And when you do something like that, the blowback is going to be on you. They're going to go, actually, this now impacts your credibility.
Lied, Candace,
you said that
on
Candace went out and said
Probably.
something about Erica. By the way, you hear the people in the background going, woo! I'm going to tell you what's happening there too, and you're going to see how this thing really works. Point number one that I want to make about what Ben is doing right here is just the stunning hypocrisy of it. Okay. The rules for thee and not for me. I am getting old. My memory is getting a little fuzzy, but I distinctly remember the week that I was gloriously fired from the Daily Wire. And during that week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, at the time it was Jeremy Boring, jumped onto an X space hosted by Lauren Chen and had a conversation with Nick Fuentes where he sang Nick Fuentes' praises and also invited him onto the Daily Wire, okay? Here's a headline, because the Huffington Post remembers too. Daily Wire CEO tells white supremacist Nick Fuentes that he's talented and he's very funny. The article goes on. During a live streamed conversation with white supremacist Nick Fuentes last week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, a major right-wing media outlet, praised the prominent fascist influencer and offered only mild criticism about some of his political views, a stark difference from how he has spoken about Fuentes in the past. On March 25th, the Daily Wire CEO, Jeremy Boring, joined Fuentes on X for a live audio chat room. Boring told Fuentes that he listens to Fuentes' show quite often and that he thinks Fuentes is, quote unquote, very funny and one of the most talented political influencers, even if he is very concerned about some of what Fuentes says. Later in the discussion, Boring said that he'd be thrilled to have Fuentes on one of the Daily Wire's shows to debate the media company's popular pundits, some of whom have millions of viewers.
So take the way that Candace just said all that and then listen to the audio that she's going to play. And it doesn't sound like a guy who's like, yeah, I love you, Nick. Yo, you're the best, Nick. The way she's kind of making it sound. It sounds like he's trying to be cordial, but, realize, like, I can't fuck with you, though. I can have you on one of our shows to get wrecked in a debate. Like, that would be their idea of things, right? Not saying I believe that would happen. I'm just saying they probably want Nick Fuentes to go on the show to essentially destroy him, right? Get rid of him. Intellectually destroy the guy, get him out of here, right? But it definitely wasn't. I think it was more so being cordial than glowing praise of Nick Fuentes. But I'll let you be the judge when she plays the audio. Here we go.
This happened. So I want you just to remember this, because I feel like people are not appreciating how hypocritical it is that he's now trying.
Also, I don't think it was that guy's, Jeremy Boring's. I don't think it was his. I don't think it was his Twitter Spaces. I think he was just joining. I think he said a few words and then kind of backed out, according to what Candace plays. But here we go.
Trying to struggle session Megyn Kelly because, he had Fuentes on the show, when the Daily Wire position in 2024 was that their CEO could talk to Nick Fuentes publicly, praise Nick Fuentes publicly, and also invite Nick Fuentes onto the Daily Wire platform. We should actually take a listen to a little bit of that conversation between Jeremy Boring, then CEO of Daily Wire, and Nick Fuentes. Take a listen.
People can say, well, I don't like what you say about this and that. I don't like that guys like Shapiro will not say Christ is King, America first. I think they forfeit their ability to lead. I would never listen to somebody that can't say those things, because, those things are really the foundation of wisdom, which is the love of God, which, as you say, goes through the
That's
Son,
not
as
true,
we
but
all know, can only go through Jesus, and oikophilia, which is, your love of your home, your love of your homeland that you reside in, not some other homeland. So I just want to get that across to you. It's kind of a strange circumstance that we're talking, but that's how I feel about
And
it.
I'll say this, Nick, that I listen to your show quite often. I think you're one of the most talented people out there, and I'm very concerned about some of the things that you're saying. I wish, I think that you're a very gifted communicator, and so it's hard for me to imagine that you consistently miscommunicate some of these things. And I'll hope that I'm wrong and yield the floor back to all the people who actually came on here to talk to each other.
I mean, once again, not a glowing review. He's like, apparently you're really good at talking. So how do I misconstrue what you're saying then if you're such a good talker? Maybe you just suck at communicating your ideas in those moments where you're saying whatever the fuck Nick says, right? But it's hard for me to believe that you're just miscommunicating when I can see that you can talk. You talk well. You communicate well. Okay. And then once again, I don't think that guy was hosting it. Maybe Nick was hosting that Twitter Spaces. Also, Nick said, like, yeah, we're in like a weird circumstance of how you're even here talking to me in the first place, meaning it wasn't planned or set up, most likely, right? I think you probably just joined the call, which is different than an interview. Now, personally, I have no problems with anyone interviewing anyone. And I mean that in a real way, not the Ben Shapiro way, where he says it in words but doesn't actually like people interviewing certain people. I actually am open for, like, open ideas all the fucking time. Trolling is something different, right? But, like, open dialogue about whatever you believe in. I don't care what the fuck you believe in. If you believe in it, I have no problems with someone saying it. And Ben, being a dumb fuck as he is, he will have problems with people saying things on platforms of people he's supposed to be like teammates with, right? Because for sure, just like Charlie did, probably want a guy like Fuentes, like, shut down. Just be honest about that. Unless they're quiet, secret, covert fucking teammates, on the surface, those guys want people like Nick Fuentes shut down. And it's pretty fucking obvious. But all right, here we go.
Anybody want to help me out why it's now different? What could be different now that it was okay when the Daily Wire was open to doing it and then Tucker
Candace,
did it
I
and
just
now it's
assessed
suddenly
that.
not
You didn't
okay.
do
It's
any
the
of it.
worst sin
Where's your
that could ever
assessment?
happen.
Candace, you just it's like, are you not hearing that, or are you just looking for a fucking win? Sounds like you're looking for a fucking win. Like, to be honest about what you're hearing, what you're seeing. Instead of trying to win a fucking game with dumb fuck Ben. God. Here we go. It's like politics. These content creators are fucking embarrassing. It's such a shame that they capture so many fucking minds. It really is. Sit up here and fucking correct every little fucking sentence this lady says, every sentence Ben says, every sentence Megyn Kelly says, Tucker Carlson, Jeremy Bohr, whoever, Nick Fuentes. Hey guys, why do I have to fucking translate these things for people? It's weird. How do you not notice what's going on right in front of your fucking faces? Here we go. Whatever.
Anybody want to help me out why it's now different? What could be different now that it was okay when the Daily
Swear my
Wire
eyes and ears
was
heard something
open to
different.
doing it and then Tucker did it and now it's suddenly not okay and it's the worst sin that could ever happen, to speak to Nick Fuentes. Point number 2 I'm going to make here is the stunning hypocrisy again, okay, of him picking the topic of Charlie Kirk to pretend that he's noble, to pretend like he has to say something, even though he's lying, in defense of what's happening to Charlie Kirk's widow, when it is just a fact that Ben Shapiro did a lot of things behind the scenes to stop the rise of Charlie Kirk. It's a fact, okay? Here's another text message. I have literal hundreds of them pertaining to Ben, sending his YAF boys, the YAF boys, the National Review peeps that were coming after us, writing articles, the one that I showed in this little, our thumbnail here. We can show this conversation. It was a headline. Ben Shapiro's YAF launches smear campaign against Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Hey, Charlie, wherever you are, it's happening again. It's just a smear campaign. I don't know why, but this is what Ben does. And it is also interesting that
Stop the rise
when
of
I was telling you
Charlie
that
King.
Ben called Charlie and he was lamenting the fact that Charlie and I had this friendship and warning him that he shouldn't have him, Charlie felt like Ben was like throwing down like slave owner vibes. And he was just like, he thinks I like own you or something, but I'm going to show you the text messages because otherwise you'll say it didn't happen. Here we go. This was, again, everything. Ben was going on people's shows and talking down about me and Charlie. And he said, you're bigger than Ben now. I'm walking into the White House yesterday. I realized that. I said, I know. He hates it. And he said, we just have to treat him like noise. He wants you to punch down to him. His respect amongst movement fighters is quite low. I feel like that's relevant right now to what Ben's doing. He wants to egg on this fight because he's lost a certain bit of respect. And then Charlie goes on, you got in his head, which is terrific. The Ben thing involves me more than he wants to admit. And then we went on, and this is the same conversation. He knows that Jon Snow, he's using a Game of Thrones reference, is stronger as the dragons fly higher. And he said it pisses him off.
What?
And he's sending his incestuous brother to go try and kill us. It's worse. He views you as my slave, 100%. Control her is what he really was saying to me when he called. So this has been, and by the way, like I said, I have hundreds of these messages. And so you have to imagine being in my position when you see someone who did everything he could to kind of stop the rise of Charlie Kirk, now trying to struggle session Meghan, who was actually a very good friend to Charlie. Charlie deeply respected her. And towards the end, obviously, she took a very principled position on telling the truth about what he was going through. And Charlie dies, and suddenly he's like, I care about this evil that could be happening. Candace is investigating who killed her friend, and she shouldn't be doing that. I mean, there's no way to spin it. What is his suggestion here? That me asking questions about Turning Point USA somehow means that I'm blaming Erica, who wasn't even working for Turning Point USA when Charlie died, because now she's the CEO? Of course.
Well, Candace, my guess is he's trying to win the marketing game over you. Or, as you said, get into a tussle, a battle of words, to where now we have to go watch Ben's fucking statements about Candace making statements about Ben. like I get it. Right? I'm not mad at anyone for following these things. Like, I'm following it myself. But I'm just saying, like, that could be the main reason. Ben, let's be honest, especially after October 7th and all the Israel stuff and all that shit and their fucking genocide over there, Ben probably was, like, hemorrhaging fucking viewers, right? But at the same time, so was Charlie. If I had to guess, like, I'm sure a lot of people are becoming, like, disillusioned with fucking Charlie Kirk. You know, he's now he's a giant now, right? After he got fucking killed. But before that, he's like a lame. Like, who's this fucking lame? I'm gonna go watch Dave Smith instead, right? And then Charlie's like, damn, how do I negotiate that? Okay, bring Dave on. Bring Tucker on. Bring Candace on. Bring them on TPSA tours because, you know, we need their audience to come start watching our stuff. Right? As like a marketing man would do, basically. But there's no, like, come on. Prove me wrong. Come on. I'm sure it's a big hit on college campuses. Like, oh, Charlie Kirk's here. Let's boo him or cheer him, right? But in my opinion, like, on the internet, Charlie wasn't so, like, he had to start saying things to maybe get more of that audience back that he was hemorrhaging. Let's be honest. He was losing audience members because of his, you know, overly pro-Israel stance, even in the face of them genociding another people, right? He had to, he's hemorrhaging fucking viewers, and he had to fucking say something to start bringing some of them back, right? Steven Crowder did the same thing, right? Steven Crowder's like, yo, what's going on with AIPAC? Now, Crowder won't bring up Israel as, like, why people are mad at AIPAC, right? That's the main reason why people are mad at AIPAC. What he does is he twists it into being, oh, well, people are mad about, or sorry, I'm pissed off that AIPAC supports Democrats. That's so they're so anti-American, right? And he'll put that in his title or put it in a tweet somewhere. AIPAC is anti-American. And people will go on the internet and be like, oh my God, Crowder's waking up. Crowder's starting to notice, right? They start doing shit like that. Meanwhile, his actual premise was they support Democrats too. So that's the main problem with AIPAC, right? And then he debates Dave Smith, and you can see what point of view Crowder's coming from. Straight up neocon. Neocon, Ziocon, whatever word you want to fucking use. devil worshipping foreign policy motherfucker. That is where Crowder comes from. But he tried to do marketing things to make it seem like something different is happening, right? And Charlie was doing it. Charlie was like, I got to do this. I got to do this shit too. I can't fully say, fuck Israel. We shouldn't be funding them at all. Fuck those guys. He can't do that. But what he can do is bring Dave Smith on or say certain questions here or there that make it sound like he's criticizing the governmental apparatus of Israel and the U.S. and their relationship. Like, duh, it's marketing, Candace. And Candace probably knows that, right? And she's doing her own marketing for herself here. She's trying to win the views as well. And that's probably what Ben is doing, is Ben's probably trying to win. So, like, just siphon some of the viewers, because guess what, Candace? There are people that are becoming disillusioned with your fucking statements in regards to the Charlie Kirk stuff. You're covering it every fucking show you do, right? And, you know, some of the information has dried up a bit, right? There hasn't been any type of, like, you know, the shock and awe of seeing new footage we've never seen before, or new evidence we haven't seen before, or whatever the fuck, right? We're not getting, Candace has not been showing that or getting that and showing that to her audience in a while. So thus, people are like, all right, Candace she's just running with this to get views or make money, regardless of what she actually believes she's doing. People are going to start thinking that, for sure. And Ben's like, let me like sweep up some of these viewers to my side. Like, you guys are playing games with each other. No one's being real or honest, in my humble opinion. Just a battle of winning audiences. Don't worry, neither of you guys can work at Walmart, right? You guys are fine. You have plenty of money. You're rich for the rest of your lives. Your kids' kids are rich for the rest of their lives, most likely, right? But at the same time, you know, they're still going to do what they do. I think they both probably enjoy the game of winning audience members over. Ben was probably flying high when he's debating blue-haired college kids who don't know anything about anything, destroying them with facts and logic. Meanwhile, he's a fucking idiot. Right? Anyways, let's continue. I'm sorry. I know, guys, we're here for Candace and Ben, the geniuses of our times. My bad. Here we go.
He doesn't believe that. And it is
Stop
just,
talking. I'm
so,
sorry,
to
guys.
me,
Sorry.
it is truly so gross to do this to a person that you know you tried to block. And you just, now that he's dead, I guess you want to sort of rewrite history. That's what you're trying to rewrite history and pretend that you're his ardent defender. Now, another point that I'd like to make is the stunning hypocrisy again and again when you stop and you consider that he's pressing Meghan and referring to this as an evil, the thing that I never said or did. But this is the same Ben Shapiro that roots the destruction of Gaza on. He supports and congratulated Randy Fine, who has literally tweeted laughing at photos of dead Palestinian babies. But I guess Tucker Carlson speaking to Nick Fuentes is just so much worse than celebrating, and not just celebrating, interviewing a man who is committing an actual genocide. Okay? That's not up for debate. That's what they're trying.
Yeah. Well, Ben's openly a devil worshiper, so it is what it is. Like, he is what it is. Openly about that life. Like, a dead Palestinian is just a dead terrorist. A dead 6-month-old Palestinian is just a dead terrorist. Most likely, for what that guy probably believes. You know, he's openly devil worshipping. Right? But here we go.
Trying him for it. Bibi Netanyahu is committing a genocide, and Ben Shapiro sat down with him last month. And do you guys think he pressed Bibi Netanyahu on the point of a genocide?
Nope.
I don't understand how you could just go out there with your hair on your chest and you're just like, yeah, how dare you? How dare you not make a comment, Meghan, about Tucker Carlson? How dare you not make a comment? I care now about Charlie Kirk now that he's dead. I care about
That's
him.
a lot of
What's
people,
happening?
Candace.
Candace trying to find out who killed him. That's
I care about Charlie
evil.
after he dies.
You're lying. You lie when you have nothing left. So the question becomes, what is Ben actually doing here? Because it's certainly not principled. I think we can put that to bed. It's actually also risky behavior when it comes to Ben Shapiro. Like, he doesn't usually come out of the gate like that. And I think a couple of things are driving this unforced error. One, I do believe that he is actually scared of Nick Fuentes, okay? I think that fear comes from guilt. Nick's backstory, don't care what you think about him. You already know I don't like Nick Fuentes because of how he treated me. But the backstory is compelling. I learned the backstory listening to Jeremy Boring, the former CEO of Daily Wire, sit down with Nick. So I was right after I'd been fired, and I didn't know what Ben and Jeremy admitted that they did to him. And so I think if you artificially push somebody out of the market, and Ben has never come out and denied anything that Nick Fuentes has said. Also, Jeremy Boring didn't deny it in a conversation with him. So we have to assume the story is true. And given what I know about what happens now, I think, and what Charlie was going through, I think we can all realize that Nick was an 18-year-old kid, like he told Tucker, and now the whole world knows this story. He started asking questions about Israel, and he got artificially pushed out of the market when he had his whole life ahead of him, okay? And now, when they did this because they wanted to rid themselves of Nick Fuentes, who then became angry about it and definitively has said very offensive things on the internet, but also he was 18, 19 years old. Now you see him
I
on
wouldn't
Tucker
do that
Carlson.
at 18 or 19 years old.
You don't like
saying
Tucker
that.
Carlson. And I think it makes him uncomfortable. I think we're in Harry Potter, right? And Lord Voldemort thought he killed the baby, and the baby may be lit. I don't even know who the Dark Lord is in this story, but I do know. I don't even know who he who must not be named is in this story, but I do know that with Ben and Nick Fuentes, it's kind of a neither can live while the other survives, and Nick Fuentes seems to have survived, okay? Without advertisers, without sponsors, without connections, with the entire media writing things about him, being put on the ADL's list, he has proven to be quite resilient. And it is in large part due to how hard they fight him that people become curious. It's like, we're watching kids be bombed. Like, how many people have lost their lives in Gaza? And you're telling me the greatest evil is Nick Fuentes? I'm sorry. I think I can survive Nick Fuentes insulting me. I don't feel the need to wheel and deal behind the scenes or, tell Tucker not to host. I just don't care. It's just really not my business. I'm like Megan. I just don't care. Like, okay, if somebody wants to be a fan, they can be a fan of Nick Fuentes. And I sense an insecurity here in the fact that 10 years on from when Ben had this thing that happened to Nick Fuentes that he tells a story about, now Nick Fuentes is still here and Ben's influence is waning. It just factually is, okay? Another thing that's happening
He was
here,
never
and
impressive
this
in
is
the
on the
first
point of
place,
Megyn
but-
Kelly and going back to the woo.
Like I said, dummies built up Ben Shapiro, along with, a whole apparatus of people, right? Organizations, politicians, whoever the fuck, right? They funneled money towards, Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro and all that stuff. And he had help from his family and other people, right? They boosted him up. But still, there were fans that started dick riding Ben Shapiro when I could hear him in like one day and be like, this guy's full of shit. This guy's like, he has an agenda and he's playing a game here. And how do you not notice that? Well, this is what I keep saying about people like Candace or Nick or Tucker. Maybe least so Tucker of all three of these people. I think maybe less so Tucker. Maybe. A lot of these guys, like as content creators, they play fucking games because they need your attention, right? They need your attention. But Ben was pretty easy to figure out, but it took a while, right? People built him up and built him up and built giant statues of Ben Shapiro. Like, oh my God, he's so smart. He talks so fast. He must be so smart. He destroys people. Like, that's part of the lore of Nick Fuentes, right? Such a good communicator, right? That comes from, most likely, because of the Ben Shapiro phenomenon, right? And he gets built up and built up and built up, pause. And then he says the wrong thing. And then they knock down the statue as some sort of cathartic fucking expression, sort of self-therapy. Like, yeah, I'm smart. I figured out Ben Shapiro. 5 years too late, but they'll be the ones like, yeah, I figured him out. I know all this shit, bro. I got it. Ben's terrible. I'm gonna go watch Nick Fuentes now. He's a new guy, right? You start building statues of that guy. And one day you'll knock that down as well. Because these guys are not efficient in the realm of character, if you ask me. And it's like so transparent to see. But we're going to, once again, when you're in the midst of it, I'm sure those people will be like, shut up, Jordan. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. And then time goes by. And they end up doing the exact thing I just said they would probably end up doing. And it's fucking sad, man. Why not get shit right off rip? Why not make sure you, like, forget about being correct about a topic or something like that. How about the idea of, like, I won't get tricked again. I will not let someone trick me anymore. I'm done with that shit. I could be personally wrong about things, but guess what? I won't be tricked regardless. I will not allow that to happen anymore. But guess what? When they're in the midst of it, they don't fucking see it. And it's incredible. An incredible phenomenon. And humans have been doing that forever. Forever. Like, I'm just saying. You think, like, someone like Hitler by himself could do what the fuck he did? By himself? No, he can't. He's a weak little man. Genghis Khan, you think that guy can do what the fuck he did by himself? No. You think Obama or Trump can do what the fuck they do by themselves? No. They rely on you guys to build statues of them. And then one day you'll tear the fucking statue down. And then build a new one of someone else. What's that thing in I think it's in the 10 Commandments, right? Of false idols. Now, we can sit here and say, well, oh, if you build a statue and say, this is God now, that's a false idol. But you can also, like, psychologically, you can do that. No physical statues built. No saying words like, oh, you're my God, you're my Lord and Savior, to whatever person they're talking about, right? But you're getting the same effect, though. Like, they are Lord and Savior, without them saying the words. And for some reason, people don't put that together in their minds. It breaks my fucking brain. It really does. Like, do you have to actually say the words out loud? But you know, meanwhile, you're actually doing the actual thing that thing merits, right? The idea of idolization actually merits. You're actually doing that psychologically, emotionally, and your physical behaviors. But you're not verbally saying, I worship this person. It's like, are we this bad? Are we? I have to say yes. I have to say yes, bro. It's either you're doing those, you know, borderline like worshiping style things with these creators, content creators, presidents, politicians, whatever the fuck, right? Countries, ideas, whatever the fuck, right? You're doing that thing. And fuck, what was my point? I was gonna add a point for that. Fuck. Forgot my point. Damn it. Hate when that happens. Editor, Jamie. Where's my editor? Jamie, edit that out. I'm not allowed to make mistakes. You have to edit that out. Listen, I need them to worship me, dude. I need worshipers. Edit this shit out, okay? I can't make mistakes, okay? I can't sneeze. I can't cough. I can't sniffle. I can't fuck up the audio. I can't do any of that stuff. I need to look pristine at all times. Trust me, Jamie. It'll work, okay? Get back to work or you're fired. Anyways, sorry, I had to handle business there. Let's get back to Candace. Our Lord and Savior, Candace Owens. I had a good point for that, too. Just like, poof, disappears in the middle of a fucking sentence. All right, here we go.
Ooh, making it sound like Ben's got a popular position about me. I sense that the pro-Israel lobby is on the brink of collapse. They are desperate for allies, right? And they're so desperate for allies that they're forcing them away. That's what they're doing to Megyn Kelly, right? They're showing the world right now that they are willing to lie to get what they want. Ben is lying right now to get what he wants. And for whatever reason, the pro-Israel lobby believes that this repeat failed strategy of lying and threatening people is going to work. Now, you might be asking, well, how is Megyn Kelly being threatened here? This is exactly
I bet I just made a better
what Ben
point
just
than
did on
Candace.
stage. That is exactly
cut
the
my
moral
point off
blackmail
halfway there.
that Charlie was speaking about in the last days of his life, okay? Ben is morally blackmailing Megyn, right? He's sitting across from her. The threat is her reputation. He's standing there and he's saying, Candace is attacking a grieving widow and accusing her of murdering Charlie Kirk. Will you disavow this evil on the spot? And he's got these fake people going, woo, yeah. And you can see Megan's uncomfortable because she's like, well, did she say that? Man, like, maybe that is evil. Like, does that happen? And he doubles down. He's like, yes. She said, Seth Dillon murdered Charlie Kirk. Will you disavow this evil on the spot? That is moral blackmail. Are you a better person than to accept Candace Owens, who has attacked a grieving widow and is saying to that grieving widow that you murdered your own husband? That is moral blackmail. Now, speaking of on the spot, everything that you just saw happen here, and Megyn Kelly, I hope
Candace,
you see this. Truly, you guys send this clip to her.
Just being honest, Candace, you kind of do that, don't you? Right? I think some kid with the green hoodie, right? And she's like, oh, there's a mysterious guy with 2 people that had green hoodies on. Apparently, they were a part of like some sort of sports team at UVU. And then when the kid said, oh, I'm just wearing like a sports hoodie, Candace's like, see, that's all you had to do. That's all you have to do. But you kind of put him in that spot where he had to answer in the first place. Like, you have a giant audience, right, Candace? And when you bring attention to things like that, people are going to ask questions about it. So, but like if the kid didn't do anything wrong, let's say he said like, I don't owe Candace a fucking answer. I don't owe the internet a fucking answer. Let's say he walked away. All of a sudden, he might be on that list for you. Like, look, this guy's suspicious. See this? Very suspicious. Right? And now that guy's like basically blackmailed until he gives you a suffice answer that you want to hear. He has to give you he has to provide you with the evidence. Otherwise, you are doomed to be on the suspect list in a way. Just saying. Right? And I understand, right? You have to ask questions about things. But like usually a lot of I don't knows should be said, in my humble opinion. A lot of like, hey, I don't really know. But okay, if someone knows this guy and he's willing to talk, please let him know about it. But Candace just goes, that's very particular, isn't it? It's like she does that shit. They don't answer her phone calls, they might end up on the front page or on the thumbnail of Candace's next video. And it's like, once again, go watch the movie Election. Look up Tracy Fleck. Yeah, black Tracy Fleck right here. I'm just saying. But here we go.
That is moral blackmail. Now, speaking of on the spot, everything that you just saw happen here, and Megyn Kelly, I hope you see this. Truly,
Man, I
you
thought
guys send
RFK
this
was
clip to her.
blackmailed.
This is
Where'd
really
that
important.
story go, Candace?
It is pre-planned. It is not organic. The supporters are not organic. The questions are not organic. We can pull back another layer of this onion so you can understand how vicious politics is, because it is vicious. You might remember, maybe you forgot, but I spoke at YWLS in 2024, right after I was fired from the Daily Wire. And a big thing happened, and we should never forget it, okay? While I was heading to speak at this event, we learned, because there was an intern at the Daily Wire who had a conscience, and she felt very uncomfortable with the secret mission that she was put on, we learned that a covert mission was happening where they were sending an intern to ask me a question, okay, to get my answer on the question. And then what was going to happen next is they were going to pass around a clip, but they were going to make it look like she was just a random student. Let me show you a clip, because we found this out. I called it out on stage. Charlie intercepted. We found what her name was, and I called this girl out on stage. Take a listen. You guys, the last thing that I am going to say, strangely, this is such a crazy story, but as I was headed in here, I got a frantic call from somebody. They did. They called me and they said, Candace, something very weird is happening. The Daily Wire has sent somebody secretly to record you, an intern, a PR intern, to secretly record you, to catch you in a bad moment, in a bad light. And I think that intern's name, no, to be fair, it is never the fault of a person when their employer is sending them to do something that isn't good, but I would really love it if Ariana
It is their fault.
stood up. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's a little too intimidating for you too, but apparently she got an email at 10 p.m., hopped on a plane, is pretending to be a student. And so I do just want to say to Ben Shapiro.
What's going on?
Enough. Come out into the light. Really, come on. Let's do this debate. Stop sending interns to do your dirty work.
She is such a psychopath. Holy Christ. But, okay. It's sending someone there to try to catch footage of Candace fucking up in a statement or something like that. Yeah, that sounds pretty normal from what seems like a lot of these guys fucking do. But, of course, if it happens to Candace, it's obviously the most destructive thing you could do to a human being on planet Earth. It is pure evil. I'm like, holy Christ, dude. And no, it is bad. It's just like treat everything, every bad thing you can see that you could ever capture, Candace. Please call it out. But guess what, guys? I don't think she does that. I don't think she does that. And once again, it's just my intuition, right? Along with some past things I've seen of her doing. But you know, she wasn't awake yet, right? She didn't wake up yet. She's still you know, working for PragerU or Daily Wire or something like that, right? But I'm sorry, guys. I don't think this is gonna be your night to your you know your top soldier to take down corruption or evil or bad shit that happens in the world. I don't see her as even playing a role, honestly. But that's just my intuition. Maybe we'll find out one day. I'm sure fans that have already built a tower, a shrine of Candace Owens, will say, "Shut the fuck up. Candace is the best. What have you done? Look at your subscriber count." I'm sure the righteous people of Candace fans will say that, but yeah, I don't think so. All right, here we go. It just feels like everything is in service to Candace, kind of like when she does stories. It's all like she is always the good guy, and someone else is always the bad guy. Like every time, I'm like, damn, that's so psychopathic. It really does come off like that. It comes off with like a social pathology that she has. But all right, here we go.
I don't bite. I'm down for the debate. Charlie Kirk says he will fly you out. He will fly you out next week to Detroit, and we can do the debates on his stage. Thank you, Turning Point USA. Let's take some questions.
That's big money.
Oh, you know, the Turning
Big
Point
money,
USA
bring
that I
that
wasn't
debate
a
up.
part of. But that's how it went down. And Charlie was like, yeah, that's crazy that this is happening. And he's like, call him out on stage and offer the debate, and I will fly him out personally to come debate you on this. But this is how it works, okay? They send people, they make it look like it's organic. They'll send people to your events, and they will have people applaud. That was orchestrated by Alyssa Cordova. Now that she's not at the Daily Wire, I can say that, who I was calling out yesterday. But it's so important for people to get this. What is happening at Meghan's events, I will guarantee you, people coming and asking her questions and trying to get her to disavow Tucker Carlson, that is not organic, okay? That is pro-Israel people that are paid to do it. Honestly, Meghan, if you're watching, you
Gripers.
give me the list of your attendees. I'm assuming this was a ticketed event. I will find the people. They will be from YAF. They will be from some organization. If you let me go through the names, I love an investigation. I will tell you how many people were sent there to go, whoa! And roarous applaud, actually trying to intimidate you and to force you to take a position and to make you feel uncomfortable because it's a part of that moral blackmail pileup. And so
What's funny enough is actions like that probably built Candace's career. Honestly enough, that probably built her shut. That's how she ends up on PragerU and TPUSA and CPAC and Daily Wire and all these places. like you think you're like, does Candace think she's like fully organic? She's just a fucking megastar. She's just a genius in regards to politics. Come on, son. Come on, son. You're probably found at a fucking talent agency. Let's just be honest with this shit, bro. But all right, here we go.
actually
It's just
genuinely not
unfortunate.
upset. I don't care. I
A lot of these
believe in
guys
the
do
free
not
markets.
scream organic to
I
me.
genuinely will say again, I will always debate Ben Shapiro. If Tucker left you on red and you want to come on this show and you want to debate Israel and you want to discuss Erica Kirk and the things I never said, if you want to discuss your relationship with Charlie Kirk, anything that I have said that you would like to dispute, my platform is your platform. I'd say you should come on my platform because my show's bigger now. But we could also do yours. So hit me up.
The little
We'll be right back
swipes.
after a brief break. All right, you
Little
guys, I've been speaking a
She throws the haymaker knockout punch, and then sells you some. Was this beef? On us.
Riverbend Ranch
on us?
operating in a flavor
Beef?
and bowls contains receive a substantial premium from Riverbend Ranch. All the
See some ribeyes out there, you know.
Even the news price of and all pendant.
Yeah, get some gold. Some gold, guys. Get some gold with Candace. Get some gold and silver.
Tour stop or up because I have seen it before. I know exactly what's happening, and they are going to be at every single tour stop trying to struggle session her into making a comment. It's weird. I don't know why they keep demanding that she disavows Tucker and Candace. I don't work with Megyn Kelly, but I know how this goes. It's the exact same process by which the pro-Israel lobby lost Charlie Kirk, because eventually you just
They
get
didn't.
tired of being bullied and you start to sense and see that it's not organic, and also it's not coming from your quote unquote friends. I just would never do this. It wouldn't even flash in my mind as an idea that I should text Tucker Carlson and tell him who he should or should not have on his platform or how he should use his platform. It's just not how normal people behave.
Now let me. I mean, if you want to talk about Israeli lobbies, wouldn't Donald Trump be the biggest Israeli lobbyist, like, in the country? Isn't he the guy that can make phone calls and get people to shut the fuck up about certain topics or talk more about other topics? Right? Didn't Charlie get the fucking call about Epstein? Like, hey, stop. Hey, listen, man, stop talking about Epstein, okay? Yes, sir, Mr. President. And he stopped talking about Epstein. Like, come on. Not be stupid here, Candace. Let's not be dumb. But, all right. Let's continue. You get your own phone calls, don't you, Candace?
Hey, Candy, can you stop covering the Crown wife's cock? You just leave it alone? Can you do that, please? It's hurting our foreign policy, Candace. And you're the most important special person in the universe, Candace. You're the best ever. You're number one. You're number one. Even better than me. But Candy, can you please, Candy, please stop talking about the Crown wife's cock? Please. It's halting negotiations with Russia, please.
She actually said that. And no one fucking cared what she said. She said they are holding up negotiations with Russia because she keeps making videos about Macron wife's fucking cock, bro. I kid you not. I kid you. That actually happened. Candace actually broke that story, and no one fucking cared. I think the most I was like, I can't wait to see what Candace says next week. Like, what the fuck, dude? What is fucking wrong with us? It's like, yo, guys, you're telling me this fucking podcaster is running our parts of our foreign policy? Are you fucking kidding me? It's out there. Like, go look it up yourself. Candace fans that are like, yo, shut up. It's out there, bro. Go look it up. Go look it up. Go look up Macron talking to Trump. Trump talking to Candace about Macron's wife. Go look it up.
You're the best star out there. You're the brightest star in the universe, Candace. Ah. You're number one, Candace.
All right, here we go.
They don't
Thank you, Candy.
understand how abnormal it is. Anyways, switching gears here, I got to show you a couple of clips. They're going viral right now, and CNN has cut these clips because they think they're embarrassing to me. So there's this young woman. She's the same age as me. Elle Reeve is her name.
If it's boring, I'm walking past
I'm going to be also be clear. I got very testy in this interview because it was a couple of days after Charlie was killed. First interview I was giving. Just worked out that it was CNN. It wasn't about Charlie Kirk, but we had set this up before. And I decided to keep the appointment. You know, I hadn't been sleeping. I hadn't been eating. And this woman, I guess, decided that she just wanted to poke a bear. Anyways, she's the one passing around this clip because she thinks it totally embarrasses me and shows that I'm a white nationalist. Take a listen.
You can criticize Netanyahu without being anti-Israel, and you can criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. But some of the themes, talking points, concepts you've used in your criticism of Israel, I'm very familiar with from covering white nationalists for 10 years. It's very unsettling for me to hear things like you saying our government is occupied by Zionists, Trump is occupied by Zionists, we're an occupied nation, because like there's literally a term that's like an 80s, 90s term from white nationalism, ZOG, Zionist occupied government. It's their idea that Jews control the world. And I'm wondering, like, are you intentionally referencing those kind of themes?
Wait, just to slow this down. Are you accusing me of white nationalist rhetoric? Because I do have to have a little bit of a giggle about that first.
Well, I mean, to me, I'm also like, they'd be no fan of yours.
It's silly. But this is one of the things where I feel like it's such a lesson for CNN. This is why nobody watches it anymore. I mean, it's like you're sitting across from a black person, you're like, I've learned about white nationalism, and you're using white nationalist rhetoric.
I know them, I've been to their rallies, I've read all their texts.
I get it, I know. I'm so glad you're educated. But this is when it's like, put it in a book and anybody will say it. It's like, it's just, at a certain point, you have to use your eyes and go, is Candace Owens promoting white nationalist rhetoric? Okay, immediately no. So what else could it be? Could it be that actually Zionism is what it actually represents?
What does that mean? Like,
Zionism is a political philosophy. Okay?
Zionist-occupied government.
If you look into the history, yes, I believe we are a Zionist-occupied government, and we're not the only one, okay? Yes, and I take it to the bank. If you need to walk out of here and say Candace Owens is a white nationalist for you to be able to digest it, then that's fine. You know, you have to deal with that in your own time. But what I will say is
maybe this stuff is ambient, and that's where you
I stand by every statement that I made, and I want to double down on it. Okay, America is occupied by Zionists.
She is such a psycho. She is such a fucking psycho, bro. Holy Christ. But, okay. There was a lot there. And I'll say this. Let's be honest. The whole Israel thing, and then, let's be honest, the whole Jewish thing attached to that, they are real phenomenons. Once again, I'll bring this story up again. No More News, Nathan Stoltman at, what's it called, Lift the Veil, Last American Vagabond, right? I remember when these guys were like way smaller channels, right? Way smaller. And they're still kind of small, essentially, but like compared to like Candace, but much larger than my fucking shit, right? But I remember these guys. And the Adam Green of No More News, like he brought up Israel, Jewish, Judaism in like every fucking video. I mean, every fucking video damn near. And his views were just, you know, well over what the other guys were doing. That Nathan Stoltman and Last American Vagabond were doing. Ryan Christian, I think. And it's like, and the Nathan Stoltman guy said it on his own channel. He's like, yeah, well, Adam does like he talks about the Jewish stuff, so that's why his views are just like through the fucking roof compared to us. Like, there is a thing for that. Nick Fuentes, there is a thing for that. There is. But Candace, who can do quiet dog whistling style things, once again, you were like, oh my God, he's a leftist, got him. Like, no, but she, like, marketing wise, you guys understand marketing, right? We'll do that with marketing. You understand that, right? Like, this is a real story about it. Like, people have walked around streets pretending to love certain products to get you to buy the product. These things exist. And I think Candace has saw this market, is like, damn, this is lucrative. We can eat off this. As a psycho might do. So Candace, like, heavily just repeated, like, oh, you're calling me white nationalist? I'm black. I can't be a white nationalist. No one thinks you're a fucking white nationalist, Candace. But are you fucking marketing towards an arena that has a lot of people there that you can fucking gather up? And I'm not calling them white supremacists either. I'm not calling them that either. A lot of people are, A, curious. B, they're like, why can't we say these things out loud on like mainstream levels? How can we get shouted down or called racist or some shit for asking questions about things? There's a lot of genuineness amongst these people. But Candace, in my opinion, Candace saw that market. And she's like, damn, let me like gobble that shit up. Just like Charlie had to start asking questions about certain things. He had to, because his business would fail if he didn't. Can't just be Ben Shapiro hyper pro-Israel no matter what 24/7. That's bad news for Charlie, who has to deal with young people, versus Ben dealing with fucking old fucking fogies. You know, old traditionalist, right? That's his audience now. Initially, it was kids. There was a lot of young people. But as time went by and they kept hearing him talk more and more about, especially foreign policy, like, yo, fuck this guy. He's out of touch. Thus, Ben's audience is probably mostly older people. But Charlie, he had to deal with young people. Like, that is his job. When someone graduates from a university, he still has to go back to that same university, even if they, that generation leaves college. He still has to go back there and talk to those guys, the young people. So we had to start giving some leeway, some narrative about, like, hey, why don't we give all this money to Israel, right? Maybe he won't say that himself, but he'll allow other people to say it around him. Versus before, what he would just shut it down, most likely, right? They shut the fuck up. You're anti-Semitic. Get out of here, right? Like, we're not this stupid, right, guys? We can figure. Like, we can, have big boy talk, big girl talk, If you tell, like, if you don't see it, you don't see it. It's my opinion, but Candace will do what the fuck she has to do to get her audience. And it might not even be about money. It might be about, perceptions of people. Like, yeah, we love Candace. Maybe she wants a fucking shrine for herself in your psyche somewhere. And it's working on a lot of people. Let's be honest. Meanwhile, like, when I watched this clip of the interview that she played here, she saw the opening. Like, once again, like, people that have been in debates, or especially if you're debating someone that's, like, kind of dishonest, they will look for an opening, right? Just like in a comment section, right? Imagine, like, someone, like, spelt a word wrong, but their point made sense, or there's something there in their point that made some sense. Maybe not all of it, like the CNN lady. I'm sure she's leaning towards, it's racism and this and that and identity politics and all that stuff, right? But there's still something there to be observed, like, possibly. I think there is. Like, you are leaning towards certain narratives, in my humble opinion, Candace, to gather up that audience. But when you're a dishonest debate person, you look for any opening you can find, and then you latch onto it and never let hold of it, right? I'm not saying that's your entire discussion. I'm saying, like, that is something that typically happens with dishonest fucking debate people. I saw Hinkle do that with Vosh. Once again, I don't like fucking Vosh. He's a full of shit motherfucker, in my humble opinion. But he stumbled his words in a certain portion of that debate, and Hinkle jumped on it, and he's like, oh, look, you said that, but like, just kept running with it until Vosh was like, all right, fuck it, I'm out of here. And he fucking rage quit. And then Hinkle started flexing, yeah, I won. Meanwhile, like, no real discussion happened. Right? That's what I think Candace did in that instance right there. Wait, are you calling a black woman a white supremacist? And she just leaned into it and leaned into it and leaned into it, as the girl's like, no, I'm not saying that. Like, she's trying to make counterpoints to some degree. But as a dishonest debate person, you have to do that. You kind of have to do that. You have to look in the comments. Oh, you used the wrong there in your statement. You used the wrong there. Let me just jump on that part. Even if they make a good point, they jump on that point and start typing away. How am I supposed to listen to someone so stupid that they used wrong there? They spelled, calamity wrong. They spelled Afghanistan wrong. Got 'em. You know what? You're too dumb for me even to debate. So I'm done. I'm done debating you because you're too stupid. You spelled Afghanistan wrong. That is a real phenomenon. It's a coward's way out of a discussion. It really is. I hope Candace didn't do that, but that's the way that clip makes me think. I'm just being honest with you guys. Once again, there could be more context to it. See that thing where I'm, like, leaving room for, like, nuance, context? I didn't see the whole debate, so I can't say I know. I'm just saying, like, based on that portion right there, that is some debate, like, dishonest debate tactic shit. I'm just saying. And if the girl she's talking to is full of shit, we don't get to find out. Why? Because Candace is not here to figure out, like, oh, well, okay, let's establish that you mean what you're saying. Now let's talk about the topic. Or in the midst of a topic, we'll find out if you're here to say legit shit or not. Or if you're just, trying to make me look bad or something. As she did to Nick Fuentes, right? I'm sure Nick will forget about it at some point and just say, oh, no, you know what? I talked to Candace. We're all good now. We're all, like, I want to be able to grow my audience, and, let me get a slice of Candace's audience right now. All right, so thus I'm sure they'll make up one day. But if you ask Nick maybe right now, he'd be like, yeah, she put a knife in my back when I was, like, being, like, vulnerable and honest with her. He put a knife in my back. Make me look bad. maybe to win my audience over with kind of dishonest debate tactics, shit. Or you're not even debating, and they turn it into a debate when you're thinking it's just a conversation. It's another phenomenon that happens. And I'm sorry for saying these things, like, oh, no shit, Jordan. I'm sorry for saying them, but I have to fucking say them because too many people get fucking tricked by this stuff. Too many. Way too many get fucking tricked by this stuff. And as I said, they start building statues of these motherfuckers, bro. I keep saying, like, yo, guys, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Not that I'm some fucking genius in regards to this. It's just I'm not willing to fall for bullshit. I refuse to allow that to happen. If someone lies to me, they lie to me. But I refuse to be like, just be doughy-eyed, dumb fuckery, no brain cell, zombieing through fucking life. I refuse to do that. If I get tricked, I'll be tricked with my eyes fucking open. What's up, Chip?
What's going on?
I'm ranting and raving. I'm making a
What we
video,
ranting about?
and I'm ranting and raving about psychopathic Oprah here, named Candace Owens. That's who I'm ranting about. Well, I'm ranting about the whole thing, content creator thing in general, honestly.
Oh man, dude, all these creators are fake. Like you seen this,
I agree.
dude? It's called content creation for like, because dude, they're all fake. They're all acting. They're all doing shit for attention, for views.
I'll say I partially agree. I partially agree. 'Cause I try to leave room for any type of other behaviors. Sometimes it could be a worse behavior. It could be a more, a nicer behavior. Either way,
Yeah, dude,
I have to leave room for these things.
when I look at it, I'm like, yo, realistically, I've never been around in my life. I've never been around people that just fucking act like fucking that, and they do everything for you to be able to say something and comment and keep talking about like what they do. It's like every good gesture, there has to be a camera with something in a guy's face. It's like, yo, nigga, I don't have a fucking camera when I do something for fucking somebody.
Exactly.
Like, when Teddy fucking gave me fucking, helped me out, uh, he didn't come with a fucking camera. It was like, oh yeah, I did all this. Look at me. You gave that fucking African fucking guy some money. You weren't like, oh yeah, everybody. Oh yeah, I just donated $40 to this guy. Everybody, he was in need.
Look what I did.
Yeah, look what I did. Everybody.
And that, like, no, like, regular people are not, like, when they hang out at a cafe or something, when they're talking to someone else, they're not talking like they're in a fucking job interview, trying to make themselves look good all the fucking time. I mean, some people do, or, I mean, some people that, yakety yak away, they yak a lot. They want to be like, yo, I did this, I did that, all that stuff, but whatever. That's different than this thing we see on camera quite often, which is a lot of these content creators. I'm not going to say everyone's like that, but a lot of these content creators, where it feels like I said that actually before you got here, yeah, I was like, like my audio messed up, or I sneeze, or I cough, like some reason that can't be seen. I have to be known as pristine 24/7. It's like, what? Why can't you cough? Why can't you curse? Why can't your technology fuck up at some point? Like, what's wrong with that? Okay,
Yeah, but
I fixed it. Let's go back
that's
to
the
work.
whole thing. That's why I'm banned from fucking like social media. Like, I hold no fucking punches, my guy.
Well, there you go.
Like, I say it how it fucking is, but no, I can't say it. You need to tell me. The community feels fucking threatened. Like, nigga, who told you they felt threatened? You don't know me. I'm behind the screen. How are you scared of threatened by somebody behind the screen? Are you mentally retarded? Like, what am I gonna do? Jump through the screen and fucking harm you? Community violence. I'm like, being violent is an action. Like, how am I violent fucking online, nigga? Like, don't read the fucking comment.
Exactly. Use
Community
your fucking
guidelines.
brain cells, you dummies. Right.
Violence. All we consider that violence. Like stating your opinion is you being fucking violent.
I mean, there's
Like
certain cases of things, but nothing I've ever heard you say before is like that. But if someone's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna find your address. I'm gonna come kill you," right? That's different than you talking shit on the internet. And you can tell if you have brains, we can tell the fucking difference, right?
That's a fucking threat. And even if that's the case, like call the fucking cops. Like the cops will get them before they can get to your fucking house, my guy.
Exactly.
And like, yo, it's the fucking internet. It's like, yo, dude, I remember mans in fucking high school. There's some of them were the biggest bitch, and then they would get online and talk tough on MSN, and the next day you see man just beating them the fuck down. It's like, yo, talk that shit again. Slapping him, yo, talk that shit again. Slap him, yo, everything you said, yo, fucking do it. Oh yeah, I was just joking, man. I was just joking, man. So you want to talk tough behind the fucking screen, and when man's really roll up, now you're the victim. You're the victim of your actions.
I think you just made both of us feel old. You just said MSN or like AOL fucking Messenger.
Yeah, dude.
Or whatever.
Yeah, you know how many
I feel
people
old
I've
as
seen
shit
get.
right now.
You know how many people I've seen get beat up because of MSN Messenger?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because
Especially when it initially started, bro.
Yeah, because dude, remember, people didn't know who was fucking who. And sometimes people would add people in a chat, and some man would be talking reckless, or somebody be saying something about you, and the guy's like the biggest bitch, and somebody would screen save all the shit, all the messages, and then show you. Now, when you confront the man, yo, they ain't about nothing. But yo, some mans, yo, they're ready about that shit. Like, you want to talk? Some mans ain't gonna let you fucking talk shit about them, dog. They're not gonna sit there and type back and talk shit. They're gonna come the next day and fuck you up.
Maybe they're just gay kids in Chicago. But all right. I want to get this video done with. So I'll let Candace. I mean, I might be done with this video, but I'll let Candace, I guess, explain what whatever her destruction of the CNN person, I guess. And then I'll probably end it there. But here we go. Here's more Candace. God.
I'd like to triple down on that if there's anybody going. I'd like to triple down on that. These tactics are super boring and tired, and this is why it hinges upon suppressing speech, right? Constantly having to refer to somebody as evil or a white supremacist or anti-Semitic because you've lost the argument on the like there is no merit to your argument anymore. So it's all a constant struggle session of semantics. And then she moves on to they. Do you remember growing up when we were just allowed to use the word they in sentences? And nobody said, what do you mean by that? Several times, she just, what do you mean by they? As if she didn't understand how to construct a basic sentence and to refer back to the noun. She had no idea which plural noun I was referring to. Anyways, I was not really in the mood.
Let's see where Candace goes.
Here is our conversation about they.
They is a word, so like I don't need to always like say they. Like it's just a weird. It's like this is one of these.
Looks like you started it in a weird spot, Candace. Just off rep. Sounds like the initial statements were already said. Whatever. Okay, here we go. We're watching through Candace.
Here is our conversation about they.
They is a word, so like I don't need to always like say they. Like it's just a weird. It's like this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like
because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
Does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that,
and
you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. people that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope?
Couldn't give a shit about a trope.
Okay. So this is actually perfect because it showcases you have Candace there, right? Who should define these things when you say like, oh, they, what do you mean? Who or what do you mean by they? That should be defined. But if you have a fucking, what do they call them, SJW person, like, oh, well, that's very anti-Semitic sounding, right? If it's those two having a conversation, I think we get absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. But I would genuinely ask, like, what do you mean by they? Like, who are you talking about? Not for, is Candace being racist? I don't care if Candace, whatever. I care, but I don't care if she's racist or whatever the fuck. I'm more asking, like, I want, like, actual details. I want you to actually, like, diagnose the crimes that are happening. Diagnose it for real. Right? Like, really do that. But obviously, Candace doesn't talk to people that actually ask those questions and wants full-blown details on every little thing. Right? Instead, she'll be like, well, this is what they do. Like, who? Who are you talking about? Is it something where I can make an equal case for an American doing it? Most likely, yes. In regards to, you could say like Charlie Kirk, right? Or Gaza. I can point to Americans, but most likely in their mindset, doing things in their own interest. Not for America as like America us, but America them, in their interest, in their particular small grouped reasons. Like they do it for them, for that version of America. Not for regular people, for themselves. Like, yeah, that can make sense. Makes action, in fact, that is my diagnosis. But obviously, if you put in front of Candace a, SJW, ex-Vice fucking employee person, yeah, you're going to get the, the far left. You're going to get the identity politics shit. You're going to get that. And it's like, good job, Candace. You're boosting yourself based on what Ben Shapiro boosted himself on. Debating SJWs and destroying them with facts and logic. Right? Here we go.
I really try not to curse, but I just felt like we needed to kill it real quick. You know what I mean? Just get her to move on from it because I really don't care. I'm so tired of these words. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted? We're tired. Collectively, we're tired. I had to shut it down because I suddenly realized I was homeschooling my toddlers. And I told her, as the interview goes on, I was like, look, I have toddlers at home. I can't teach you, basic sentence. I'm teaching my toddlers how to read. And here I am. I'm teaching her how to understand they in a sentence. That's a place. What are we doing? How old is this person? And she says she's the same age as me. And I'm going, you missed first grade? You don't know what they means? And now you're just...
Come on, Ken. You know what the girl was saying. Like, what? She's already saying stupid shit, right? Why do you need the extra add to it, which now it's coming off as dishonest? Why do you need to do that, Candace? Just go like, oh, she's assuming that when I say they, it sounds anti-Semitic because I'm saying like, oh, it's them. It's the they. Are you noticing, huh? Right? Parenthesis, right? That shit. In quotes, noticed, right? And fucking Candace is pretending like, you heard we know what she was saying. She understands what they means, but she doesn't understand what they means when you say it in this political sense. Right? Right, Candace? Just like in the world of conspiracy, right? It's like, yo, these people fucking hate us. You talking about, the Illuminati, the whatever the fuck, right? But they say they or these people or whatever the fuck, right? Come on, Candace, you know that. So why would her point's already stupid. So why the fuck do you need to make it dishonest at this point? What do you get out of that? Anyways, here we go.
It's a trope. This is the way to respond, okay?
Noticing.
Just shut it down immediately. Embrace whatever you're going to be called. In this circumstance, if I got to be called a white supremacist, to say
She's still leaning
my
into that
opinion
argument.
about this administration and how it's been occupied by Zionists and the cruelties that the Palestinian children are suffering at the hands of Bibi Netanyahu, then so be it.
Once again, the things that Trump is doing now, he was doing in his first administration, and you campaigned for the motherfucker. So are you part of the they in that situation, Candace? Can I do that? Or at least you were part of the they? It's like you'd have to, like, as far as her diagnosis, right? Of like, oh, these guys are creepy, corrupt, whatever, shills, whatever you want to call them. You were part of that. Right, Candace? Now, if there's room for you, Candace, to like, man, I didn't know what I was doing. I woke up. What else is there room for? Other people to be going through the same phenomenon. Correct, Candace? Or is it like the way you do the Charlie Kirk stuff? Where it's, hey, if you don't give Candace information, maybe you're part of the conspiracy, huh? And people get mad at me when I'm like, she comes off as like honest to God, narcissistic psychopathy. I kid you not. He comes off in that direction. And people don't understand what they don't, once again, they're building their statues. They're too busy, carrying heavy boulders on their shoulders. Make sure Candace makes it. Notice like some sense of like critical thinking or possibilities that exist in the world. But I guess we'll find out. Hey, if I'm wrong, I won't forget that I said this stuff. I will come back and be like, damn, I was wrong about Candace. I was fucking wrong. Will you guys do that? Candace fans? Will you guys do that if you find out you're wrong one day? Will you say to yourselves or whoever you're like in like more communication with or whatever, like, damn, I was just absolutely wrong about Candace Owens. Fuck. And you know what? The only real way to admit you're wrong about something is to never fucking do it again. Ever. That's really admitting you're wrong. Like, that's so wrong, I can't allow it to be a part of my humanity anymore. My expression. Anyways, let's continue.
I don't encourage you guys to cuss. It's a rare moment. Like I said, it was a couple days after Charlie Kirk died, and I just was not in the mood.
Fuck shit, pussy cunt.
But I do encourage you guys to defend yourselves in a similar manner. Now,
okay, I assume she's done. I see the timestamp there. Eric and Laura Trump. What's that? Pressed about Israel by, okay. Assume it's I think I saw a clip of that, a TPUSA visit or something like that. Okay. Whatever, I'm leaving it there, though. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Please let your opinions be known in the comment section. There's a bunch of different stories here. You have Ben Shapiro and Candace. You have the CNN interview with Candace. You have, all these topics here, right? So please, say your opinion if you feel like. Shout out to Silver making dinner right now. He's probably... Did I say pause for that? Say pause. Whatever. Don't forget to share support. Hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. All opinions are welcome. And I mean that in a real way, not in a phony way. I actually mean that. All opinions are welcome. If you do the trolley, I'm just going to spam dick pics everywhere. Yes, I will ban you for that. And I'll send you right to this Discord so you have a place to go.
You would rather that in his DMs, not in.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, yeah, you'll be banned on that Discord, and I'll send you to this Discord that I'm in right now, so everyone has a home to go to. Don't worry, you'll be in Chip's Asylum before you realize it. Also, please check out the links of the videos I showed, well, I only played one, right? Yeah, I played one video. Okay, the link for this video will be in the description box. For you to watch on your own if you feel like. You don't have to hear me pausing the video or talking over the video or yapping or my opinions. Just hear Candace by herself. I'm sure it's like, come on, like that's too. I'm sorry I have to like say that. I shouldn't have to say that, right? It's clearly Candace Owens' channel. You can just go watch her channel. You can go find it on your own. But you know what? I will link it anyways in case your thumbs don't work too good. Yeah, and with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down. Yeah.